Welcome everyone. My name is Sean, and today I want to talk about this situation over in Oakland, California, where Taco Bell, the fast food franchise restaurant that will take over the future in that Sylvester Stallone movie, unless you got the European version of it, is actually closing all of their indoor dining locations in Oakland and only doing drive-through, and this is allegedly due to crime outside the stores, like when people come in, their cars get broken into, as well as crime inside their locations and disturbances, people acting up and going all crazy. However, I do think these news organizations are missing another additional factor that plays in as well, but that's what I want to talk about today, and I won't spoil that until we get into it. Before we do, thank you to everybody who signed up over on actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay.
And again, 27th of April, Saturday, Vulcan Theater, Austin, Texas. I will be at the Minds Fest. Link to tickets in the description.
Another major chain making changes to how it does business in Oakland, and it is because of safety concerns. Taco Bell now closing its dining rooms at 2 of its locations.
So like that local news lady said, over in Oakland, the safety concerns, the criminality is so extreme, so ridiculous, that Taco Bell, as its only potential response, is closing its dining room in order to not have people get their cars broken into, which is, by the way, something that people who drive up to these locations 100% understand.
Long drive-through lines and closed dining rooms at 2 Oakland Taco Bell locations are slowing things down for this fast food chain.
I think it's kind of sad. I mean, people who actually want to sit down and dine can't because they're in risk of maybe getting their car broken into.
Both the 35th Avenue and Hagenberger locations are now closed to walk-ins.
Now, one of the things that I happen to notice with my eagle eye, with my mangekyo, is the fact that these locations also appear to be boarded up, like they've had windows smashed, and this is due in large part to the fact that these are high crime areas, particularly in the city of Oakland, and that crime extends not only for the people who park their cars on the street, but there's also been robberies at several locations in and around this area, and this has also led to other locations closing in a similar way that Taco Bell did. Now, we also have the famous In-N-Out closure, which was the only In-N-Out location to ever close in the history of the franchise. That's 76 years, by the way, for those of you counting at home, and this was due, again, according to In-N-Out, not to lack of sales, but to the fact that the security situation was completely untenable, and we have local representatives now on the 157th business that is closed in this particular area, finally, and I mean finally, reconsidering the potential of defunding the police and whether or not that was a good policy.
In a statement, Taco Bell says the franchise owner is working on safety by closing dining rooms, hiring security guards, and meeting with local law enforcement. Councilmember Janani Ramachandran represents the Laurel District, where one of the restaurants is located, and is working to address an increase in crime the area has seen in the last year.
And I want to see every business, small, medium, large, really be able to thrive. So we are working very cohesively with OPD to see how we can increase OPD presence in the area.
Ramachandran is also advocating for safety ambassadors for the area.
Now, before you think that this particular representative is similar to the other representative that we talked about in the In-N-Out story, who voted against defunding the police, who was actually advocating for more police there, you really gotta listen to the words that she says, because she is also 100% in denial of this situation, because she just said that we need safety ambassadors there. Now, we've talked about these people in West Hollywood. I did an entire video on how absolutely useless they are. In fact, there's a ton of videos of people being attacked viciously, and the safety ambassadors are just standing there calling 911 and recording on their phone. They're also dressed like Walmart employees, and in reality, in actuality, an average everyday person cannot intervene with a crime as it's occurring and call 911 or record it on their phone. So this woman already red flag going in another direction, but she also added this additional thing, and I just want you to hear it because it's unbelievable how stupid people can be, how in denial people can be, as each and every one of these restaurants ends up closing for the same thing.
Ramachandran is also advocating for safety ambassadors for the area, but believes other factors contributing to the dining room closure could be at play.
We have award-winning restaurants within a block of that Taco Bell. So, I see this as potentially a sign that there's a lot more competition.
Yeah, that's right. This dopey representative is like, listen, we have award-winning restaurants in our district. In reality, what might be happening is that people who would normally go out and spend $4 to $5 on Taco Bell to get themselves a burrito are actually going into these high-level Michelin star restaurants. Because you guys out there in the audience, when you're craving fast food, when you're interested in Taco Bell, and then you see like a sit-down dining place that's completely not what you're craving, the competition in that situation would redirect you from point A to point B. I mean, not to mention the fact that we have seen throughout the course of this video the insane line for Taco Bell, how ridiculous this is, but you also have sit-down restaurants closing their indoor dining. And again, Taco Bell is successful and growing in a large portion of this country and in other parts of California. But this absolute buffoon, this crime denier, this person who is obfuscating the problem, who wants more safety ambassadors and can't figure out a way to get the police in these certain areas. How about data-driven policing, where you station the police in high crime areas? I mean, just magically how I solved that problem. We used to do that back in the 1990s. That's when we started doing that. Crime greatest drop in history. And you guys stopped doing that because you thought it was evil white racism. She's like, listen, it could be that there's just more competition. I mean, every store is starting to close in and around my area, thus reducing competition. In-N-Out close, all these other fast food places are closing, so there's less fast food options. But somehow, according to this woman, there's just more competition. Did I mention that we have such award-winning restaurants in our particular area? So award-winning that while you're eating the delicious food, everything from your car will be stolen, if not your whole car in its entirety. But don't worry, it's award-winning. Trust this representative. She wants to send the safety ambassadors so that they can record on their phones and get the phone position while your car gets broken into. Don't you feel safe?
But for the Taco Bell near the Oakland airport, the change is adding to the growing list of nearby restaurants making the same move in the name of safety. Last year, Raising Cane's closed its dining room too. Denny's on Hagenberger served their last meal in January, and In-N-Out's only Oakland location is closing their doors at the end of March.
Again, they just ran through the list of all these different locations in and around this area that closed. All these different competitors, if you will, all these different indoor dining places that are closing, all with the same complaints, all related to safety. But this woman's like, we probably got some award-winning restaurants in those particular areas, and they're just putting them all out of business. That's just a competition. That's just capitalism. Trust me, there is no problem. Pay no attention to the fact that I'm one of these representatives who voted against defunding the police, who told you that crime was not an issue at all whatsoever in the city of Oakland, who thinks that, again, safety ambassadors to ambassadorize the people breaking into your cars is the solution. I mean, it's absolute madness what's going on in the Bay Area. It's one of the car breaking capitals of this nation. You see it in broad daylight, these people coming in. When you talk to these employees, they say not only will they smash into every single car in a matter of seconds, but they'll actually come into the location and rob the customers in the location. And this woman's like, I think the reason why they're closing all of these locations at the same time, thus reducing competition, is because we got such great restaurant competition in my area of Oakland. I mean, again, you not only get your meal, but you can also get a lead slug in your gut, and that's just like free additional flavoring. If we're being perfectly honest, her area is perfect. There's no problem at all. Pay no attention to the fact that she orders everything for delivery, because she would never go out to any of these places, because you'd have to be crazy to do so. Now, I do want to add one additional thing. Fast food chains like Taco Bell, they tend to try to cut costs in the best way possible, and California has that absolutely crazy minimum wage, so I do want to point out that this is likely a factor. However, it is specifically in Oakland and in specific targeted areas where we're seeing the indoor dining closing. So in reality and actuality, it's probably a confluence of the factors, including the insane minimum wage in California for fast food workers, that is leading to these closures, because just by the facts, it takes less employees in order to operate a Taco Bell. If nobody's dining inside, you don't have to pay to clean the dining room and all that. So it makes sense for them to shift over to this model economically, and crime is a convenient excuse for that. However, they're not doing this in multiple various locations. It's a franchise owner decision, and this particular franchise owner has to deal with the fact that people are breaking into cars at alarming rates in the city of Oakland, specifically in these areas. In fact, one of these Taco Bells is is in the same area where that Denny's is, where that other restaurant is, where the Starbucks was, where the Subway was, where the In-N-Out is closing. It's all the same area of Oakland, so trust me, this is a real thing, and yet we still can't figure out a way to send the Oakland Police Department to the #1 hotspot for car break-ins in the city of Oakland. We can't figure that one out. We can't crack that code because God forbid we would have data-driven policing, because at the end point of that, the crime might be disproportionate. We might not get a perfect pie chart of who's breaking into cars in the city of Oakland that matches the pie chart of the population of Oakland. Therefore, we can't do that. So we will still spin our wheels and talk about how maybe, just maybe, the restaurant scene in Oakland is too improved for Taco Bell. Again,
It's a trend customers hope will stop before more businesses leave.
I'm afraid that this area is just going to start shutting down altogether.
as if when you're craving fast food, you're also like kind of on the fence about whether or not you're going to go out to a fancy Italian restaurant. Especially saying that related to Taco Bell is absolute madness, because there actually is no substitute for Taco Bell. Like, you could argue Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, whatever, they're all kind of interchangeable. They are all kind of on that similar plane of quality. But when you want Taco Bell, there is no other alternative. There is nothing that matches that absolute authentic experience. It's like you're eating burritos out of a cart in Guatemala, and there's just nothing else like it, except for that thing that I said about it being authentic in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, madness all around, denial all around, and the people of Oakland suffer. Jobs get reduced, the area has more blight, that leads to more crime, because again, as posited by the proponents of broken windows theory, your environment impacts your behavior, and right now, their environment is looking very dire. But look, those are just my thoughts, and I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Is Oakland having all these closures just because the restaurant scene is so poppin' in the city of Oakland and competition is exploding? Is all of these different places closing actually make competition go up rather than competition go down? Because again, everywhere in this area is closing. Let me know what you think about that theory down in the comments below. As usual, if you like this video, then show me by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social media, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about how yet again Oakland suffers due to the defund the police ideology. Till next time.